Alrighty. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for PuckChamp versus FantasticFive for the Dota 2 Champions League 2021. Now, it's still in the group stage. It's still got a few more days to go. So it's just a matter of getting some points. But I think both of these two teams have had a relatively similar showing so far. So neither one is really desperate for any points. But even still, you know, some added few extra ones on top is always going to be nice. Just makes you feel a little bit more secure in the early stages of the tournament. And let's see what these guys are going to bring to the table. Maybe they're doing something different with this patch currently. Which I've seen PuckChamp play a few times before, but as I was saying earlier, I've not really seen that much of FantasticFive. But so far, the bans seem pretty standard. PuckChamp removed the Beastmaster and the Lycan. Just really, really hating on that new sort of Helm of the Overlord meta. They do not want to see that turn up whatsoever. I mean, is that something that FantasticFive have been picking quite a lot? Oh, look at this. I've got the spectator bug. Look at this guy's janky cursor. Oh, just bear with it, guys. It'll disappear. It'll disappear. But yeah, FantasticFive, have they gone with the Lycan Beastmaster that much? No. They've not picked it a single time this patch. And yet, PuckChamp have just banned them out straight away. So maybe they're just a little bit afraid that the possibility could come out. They just don't want to play up against it, perhaps? Not too sure. But even still, Cole was the immediate ban from FantasticFive. Obviously, that is just a super popular hero in the current meta. Actually is tied for the most picked hero from PuckChamp. The follow-up hero to that is Lina and Venge and a Mars and a Lion, all picked 3 times actually. So PuckChamp have actually been quite diverse with all their picks. They decided to get rid of the Pangolier. Obviously, again, that's another one very popular at the moment. So all just 4 super meta heroes being taken out at the very start. And it looks like PuckChamp, they've grabbed the Omni Knight, so probably set in to take the Sven as their actual carry to pair up with the Omni Knight, obviously with the strength bonus, just amplifying the god strength damage just a ridiculous amount. And he just hits like a truck. So always a scary thing to play up against. So obviously with the Omni Knight leading up, FantasticFive do have the opportunity to respond with maybe picking up some subtle counters to the Sven, but you don't want to go too hard and end up screwing your draft over. Say if like you pick a Slark now, then PuckChamp can easily just decide not to go for the Sven, pick up a different carry, and then they can spend their other picks countering out the Slark pretty easily. So you got to make sure you don't go too hard in on it. They instead decide to lead up with the Rubik first pick. That is actually FantasticFive's most picked hero. He's got a 66% win rate. And they actually snap up the Sven themselves. So just going to deny the potential combo there from PuckChamp. I'm just going to take it up. I mean, it's not like the Sven requires an Omni Knight to be good. He's still just a fantastic hero currently, even without it. It just makes it a little bit better. Instead, PuckChamp are actually going to spawn by taking the Gyrocopter themselves. So it's not like Gyro is exactly a hard counter to a Sven by any means. Normally when people see a Sven pick up, they like to go in for a Slark or something like that. A hero which traditionally has always done quite well. But yeah, PuckChamp deciding to break the mold, go for the Gyro instead. And we'll see how this ends up panning out for him.
Dyer's turn to ban.
I mean, maybe FantasticFive might be leaning towards going for a Night Stalker, perhaps. It's a hero which a lot of teams have been picking up against this Omni Knight Sven combo, or just the Omni Knight in general. Because you just get on top of him, you get that 7-second silence, and there's just nothing really the Omni Knight can do. Just walking around, can't cast anything, can't do anything at all to help his team, and normally just ends up dying. So maybe that could be their FantasticFive. Maybe PuckChamp actually could decide to ban it out. Obviously, they already removed the IO. IO's not like a super common pairing with a Sven. It does work, and they're just a little bit afraid of themselves. PuckChamp, yeah, there you go. They removed the Night Stalker. Was it expected? We have FantasticFive taking away the Invoker, taking away the Bat. So really, they're just focusing all of their bans now towards Young G in this mid lane, trying to limit his hero pool as much as possible. He has played the Lina a few times already in this patch. He's got 100% win rate on it so far. So maybe that should be the next ban here from FantasticFive. Like, if they are actually worried about Young G getting a hero he likes playing, that should definitely be a noteworthy hero to take out for him. Still, PuckChamp just looking to go for their next ban. And they're a little bit unsure about what they want to go for themselves. What else FantasticFive would normally lead into? Obviously, the bat's already gone, which actually they've been playing a lot themselves, but they still removed it either way. They've been playing a bit of Tiny. They've actually not won a single game with the Tiny, so maybe they won't bother going with that anymore. Maybe they might start transitioning their playstyles a little bit. PuckChamp actually decided to remove the Storm Spirit. So Storm can actually play quite nicely against the Lina. Like, Red makes it kind of difficult for her to get a good catch on him as he's just constantly zipping around. So maybe they are going to go for the Lina. Even still, Tidehunter is the third pick up there for FantasticFive. Always a very solid offlaner to have. Obviously, just Ravage is always going to be relevant. No matter what patch, what century Dota is being played in, who cares? Ravage is always going to be strong. And it doesn't play too badly up against Omni-Knight Gyro. I mean, obviously, the Rocket Barrage is just going to go straight through the Kraken Shell levels. And the right-click damage from the Omni Gyro is relatively negligible, so he might only put 1 point into it and then decide to max out Gush or Anchor Smash instead. Because there's no point going hard on Kraken Shell. It's not going to do that much in this lane. Yeah, I'm actually probably max Gush, to be honest, actually. Still, PuckChamp got their third hero to go now, and they are going to, go for that Lina. So that's going to be for Young G in the mid lane. They might just pick up their off-lane hero now. And then, actually, I don't know. Yeah, they might just grab their off-lane, and then maybe try and fake out this Lina's going to be a support, and then you can pick up a really decent position 5 support, position 4 support, sorry, or maybe something else for Young G if he gets a really weird matchup in this mid. It depends. Oh, if they might just show their cards, they'll probably just grab their 4 now, and then just be done with it. Why not? There they are. So they grabbed their position 3, got the Bloodseeker. So looking at this, you would think then that the Lina was going to be in position 4 because you wouldn't normally leave the support to get the final pick of the game. So yeah, there is the possibility that PuckChamp are just going to leave this as a flex. But the only thing is, though, they do actually have to pick their hero before FantasticFive do. So if that is the case of FantasticFive leave their mid as the final pick, then he's definitely going to be able to get a favourable matchup. Because it should be relatively easy to tell who's going to be the mid lane hero between Alina and whatever this empty space is going to be. FantasticFive looking to probably grab their position 5 now to go with the Sven in the safe lane. He knows that he's going to be playing up against a Bloodseeker and maybe Alina. McColl's already been taken out. That would have been a pretty decent one to get. Just deals with like the long range spam. Maybe they might go for an Abaddon, perhaps. Like, it would give the Abaddon be able to like purge off the stun that comes in from the Lina to try and trap him inside the Bloodbright, perhaps. Or maybe if that's not enough, they might go for something else. Pos 5 Darks here? Lol. No, that'd be terrible. They really shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do that. I'm not too sure. I mean, they're not sure either. They've used up a lot of their reserve time right now, down to 20 seconds. But they do decide to actually go for the Morphling. So I guess this is a Morphling mid then. And they themselves have also left a support as the potential final pickup here. So it's going to be interesting to see what these two teams are going to do as these bans. Obviously, PuckChamp are pretty sure that it's a position 5 left here for FantasticFive. Because you wouldn't really expect there's much flex between these heroes. Unless this is going to be a tied 5. That was actually sort of meta for a little bit of time. And people were playing that. That could actually be the possibility here. In which case, then, it's the offlane hero left still to pick up for FantasticFive. PuckChamp actually ban out the Puck. I mean, there was a time where you have 5 Puck as well. It was really Puppy that was the only person actually playing that. Is he going to...
Remain.
I don't know if that's really a likely hero pickup for FantasticFive. I mean, it could very well be.
Remain.
Yeah, FantasticFive are sure this is going to be a mid laner though, because they banned out the Lion. Maybe they might branch out a little bit as well and ban a potential mid lane hero. Or they are going to commit these Young G for the mid. I mean, it's very likely that is where the leaner's going to end up. It would be kind of a surprise for it to end up in any other role.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
See if they're going to ban another position for... I mean, obviously he just wants a stun to pair it with the Bloodseeker, worked as well. Maybe they could go for like a classic Shadow Shaman. Nah, the Ravage sort of screws it over. The Sven and the Morphin will be able to deal with it way too easy. They decide to get rid of the Shadow Demon. Obviously a lot higher meta at the moment. Not like as strong of a pairing with the Bloodseeker. You've got to really time like your disruption into the Bloodright to actually get a decent connection off. Still, PuckChamp got this last pick to go. They still got a fair chunk of their reserve time, 42 seconds on top of this. So let's see what they're going to go for. Oh, they don't even need to touch their reserve time. And they do actually go for the Shadow Shaman. Big brain. I called it, boys. I called it. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of cancels for it, though. Like Strength Adaptive Strike, Ravage, Stormhammer, Telekinesis. A lot of ways to disjoint the Shackles. And then obviously he's got to be careful that he doesn't just give away some good spells to the Rubik. So pretty much any skill that Shadow Shaman has is a nice steal. And then the actual last pick for FantasticFive is going to be the Ember Spirit. So is this then actually a position 5 tides? Hoswan, Sven, off-lane Morphling? No, off-lane Ember. I'm not quite sure which players go in which roles here. But Solari obviously is getting the final pickup. Says he's still part of Viking GG. Did he leave Viking GG or is he a stand-in in this game? I don't actually know myself. Okay. But I mean, looking at these lineups, I think I am still favouring FantasticFive. Like, I think I'm always just going to be favouring a Sven lineup. It always seems strong. But I mean, it depends which position this Morphling actually is. I assume this is a mid-morph and off-lane Ember. That would make the most sense to me. So I'm not sure how a off-lane Morphling actually ends up panning out. I mean, it actually lanes kind of nicely against the Gyrocopter, because every time you get a Homing Missile, you can always dodge it with your waveform. But then, similar with the Ember Spirit, you can always do a Sleight of Fist to dodge the missiles, so both of those two actually have a decent response to it. And I'm sure this Rubik is guaranteed to be the 4, right? I wouldn't really expect it to be in any other role. I'll have to do a final evaluation when the game actually starts, just to do a double check of where everybody's actually ending up. But yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards FantasticFive this game. Not like massively by any means, but I think their lineup just has a slight better edge. Just going into this one. Yeah, it looks like I had the player perspective of the gyro then, which was a bit confusing. Crit. So let's see how they're going down. Already dropping their smoke straight away. Not if they're all going as a 5, so this smoke is literally just to get a fast ward down, rather than any sort of potential first blood move. A lot of random confusing tips being splashed around there. Who knows? Yeah, Ducalis. Oh, he's just got a sentry ward on him at the moment. The Observer I'll just put right down in the middle. Yeah, no one's going to go too crazy. So, obviously, the positions of PuckChamp is all just completely obvious to me. I know, obviously, these two up top, these two at bot, and then the Young G in the mid. So it is actually, I assume it is the Morphling mid, and Arsgold's heading his way back. I mean, actually, he's got Bottle queued up first. Meanwhile, DR doesn't. I mean, you can still sort of build a bottle for the mid. I'm not sure. But actually, so it's still the Tide and the Rubik at the bot. So it's looking like this is at the offlane pairings. Have they got like a position 5 Sven? No. Soleri is a carry, right? I'm not sure if he is. He's brought a Sentry Ward, as well as a healing salve. And he's going to contest this bounty rune. Oh, unfortunately, the stun lands just slightly after D2CL gets the grab.
Get off my
I
lawn!
could have sworn Soleri was the POS 1, but I guess he's not. Unless this is a 5 Morphlin. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to actually have to wait and see who starts getting the last hit priority. And that will be the tell. I mean, it's looking like it's a support spend, because why else would he spend money on a Sentry Ward and a salve at the start? It's not normally you carry items. So yeah, it's looking like a 5 spam. Absolutely no idea how this works out. I suppose the Sven's actually going to do a pretty decent job at securing CS as well as just being a constant harassment. I don't know. Unless they go for like this weird 50-50 farm sort of playstyle. You see, they've got to be careful. It's a little bit difficult at the early levels for these two to be threatening by any means, especially the Morphlim. Like, until he hits his level 3 and he actually gets 2 points into attribute shift, this man is just so goddamn squishy. So yeah, got to be super, super cautious. We're still down at the spot. I think Crit should have a relatively fine time farming up. I don't think there's too much that James and Shergat can actually do to pressure him out for these early parts, especially with D2CL on the Omni Knight just sat behind him the whole time. Could always just heal him and heavily grace him up to purge away the minus damage, as well as the armor reduction from Anchor Smash and Gush. We're still, how is this mid lane going? 7-3 for Arsgold to the 7-2 there for Young G, so pretty much even at the moment. Just one more, actually, yeah, one higher for Arsgold in both last hits and denies. So not really a big lead by any means, but actually nice little dodge of the LSA. So if he carries on doing stuff like that, it'll definitely start cementing his lead in this lane. Unfortunately for Arsgold, he doesn't have his bottle, but James was there to cancel out the bottle refill for Young G. Actually, he didn't even have his bottle either. Both of them have only just got them delivered, which is not really slow. I guess because neither one's actually dominating this lane. Normally when you get like really high CS values for the first few waves, you can buy your bottle and have it up before the 2-minute mark. But where they've both been like, yeah, just doing so equally at the moment, neither can actually afford it. But even still, there was once again the favour of Arsgold. He got his water rune whilst Young G's got denied. Right in front of his face. Arsgold going for the big points into the Flame Guard. Obviously, it just makes perfect sense this game. Once again, dodging the LSA. Man's just on it. But obviously, yeah, with the Flame Guard point spam, it's going to give you all that magic damage absorption. And the early sort of levels and minutes of the game, Young G is not going to be able to threaten him all that much. It takes probably up until like the 25-minute mark where Alina's right clicks can actually be considered scary. Meanwhile, up top, Astral's getting gone on now, but they're going to get the turnaround, and the first one actually gets found for melees there onto Soleri. And DR just going to trade some right clicks here, but I mean, he's got his 2 points into attribute shift, so he feels relatively comfortable to stand his ground. And eventually, melees just has to go back to last hit, needs to heal up from the creeps. And so bring him a salve? Yeah, it's got a salve to pop. But it's actually just one tango and the stick usage brings him up to pretty healthy standing. So doesn't need to use up that crucial bit of regen just yet. Once again, James making another move to the mid to help secure these water runes. But it looks like Young G's probably going to be able to get the top one either way. No, James actually still going to try and deny it if he can. The LSA, oh, it doesn't actually connect us to James. Toss him back. Just denies the rune as well. Doesn't even care about picking it up. And once again, helping his mid laner gain a favourable sort of standing in this mid. That's now 2 water runes that Arsgold's had more than Young G.
Denied.
Especially when Young G's got completely empty bottle. No mana left at all, really. Meanwhile, Asgold's still got pretty much full mana, over half HP, and bottle filled still. So it's going to make some really nice moves from Young G to try and bring this game a little bit back. Yeah, the LSA was miles off. I guess it was just to keep his fiery stacks online. They've still, so far, all 3 calls on the side of PuckChamp at the top of the CS chart. Not like it's a massive lead by any means. It looks like James is going to get ran down here. The final right click from Crit, just getting the connection before the stun came in. And a free kill for Crit. Just going to make this lane even better. I mean, he's still doing fantastically on CS. 28 for 2. Just not really being contested by this Tide whatsoever. So it just seems like a fantastic start for PuckChamp. Yeah. I mean, even still, the counterparts are pretty close. Like, you can see him just dancing around here. Like, pretty much identical CS between the 2 mids. The off-laners are pretty much identical. It's just a slight rift between the position 1s. Like, 26 to 31. Which is why this gold lead is so even at the moment. Shadow is already online for Melez with a charge. So, able to give himself some nice little bit of early aggression. And Ducalis this time actually makes the rotation to secure the room for Young G. And he even gets a bold haste rune, so this could just be a death here for the Rubik. Telekinesis, it is off cooldown, but it's not going to do anything to really save him. The nice toss back, but all it's going to do is delay the inevitable. The final right click, traveling in from afar, secures the kill. And now Young G actually going to steal away this little double stack on the creeps as well. So just insult to injury there. And that was actually pretty lucky as well, that Ducalis came in to secure the rune and it actually spawned at the bot as well. It would have felt kind of rough if it spawned up top. There was no way we would have got that kill if that haste rune did spawn there. So kind of unlucky for the Rubik. But hey, that's Dora. Sometimes those 50-50 chances just fuck you over, and sometimes they really help you out. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. Swings and roundabouts, boys. Swings and roundabouts. Now Crit on his level 6. Going straight in for the Chrysalis. Pretty standard sort of build for Gyros as of late. I assume then he's going to go in for the Aghanims as well. See if that's going to be the choice.
So much blood.
I'm still quite intrigued about what the big game plan behind this POS 5 Sven was. Like, I wonder at what point they decided that they were going to run it as a 5. Oh my god, the voice line spam. Yeah, like, was it considered to be their 5 at the very start of the draft when they picked it up? Or was it, like, once they saw a few more of the picks from PuckChamp, they decided to swap it over? Because, I mean, their pick order went, it was the Rubik, Sven, Tidehunter, Morphling, and then the Ember Spirit. So maybe they were still considering to put the Morphling into the mid and then have a carry Sven after their 4th pick, but then something made them decide to get the Ember instead. Not entirely sure why. It's not like Morphling versus Lina is a bad matchup. I mean, sure, if the Lina can get the catch out on the Morph before he gets the Attribute Sift, then maybe he can actually have the burst damage to get a kill. But it's not a very easy thing to pull off. Because obviously LSA takes a little time to wind up, gives plenty of reaction opportunities for the Morphling to switch. I don't know, it's an interesting choice. Maybe they've got some big game plan behind it. We'll see what his item build's actually going to be. Whether he'll still going for like the standard Blink Dagger perhaps, just for assisted initiation. Mind you, I don't know if they need the assisted initiation, because they've got the Morphling Wave, they've got Fire Remnants, they're going to have a Blink Ravage. So maybe that might not be too bad. And they could also just do like some cute play of the Rubik getting his Aghanim Shard, and then he can just use that to toss the Sven in. Give him that pseudo Blink, perhaps. I don't know. It's interesting. Because none of his like shards are even support base. They're all just about the Stormhammer, which... I mean, I suppose the shard would make a fair bit of sense. It applies a Dispel. Is there actually much to Dispel? Actually, it could actually be nice, Dispelling the Heavenly Grace. So if that's actually the game plan, to just use the Sven to remove this, that's kind of cool. Apart from that, there's no other basic Dispel that you can get rid of. Like, Fire Souls can't be removed. Flat Cannon? No, Flat Cannon can't be dispelled either. There's nothing for the Bloodseeker to be dispelled. The same with the Shadow Shaman. So it's literally just the Heavenly Grace. They must have that in mind, because that is literally the only thing that makes sense to me. Like, to make this any sort of worthwhile at all. I mean, it does quite screw with the Omni Knight. Can his ultimate be dispelled? Yeah, even the Guardian Angel can actually be dispelled. So, is this going to be like Aghanim Shard into Octarine Core and literally just spend your whole time throwing out Stormhammers? New meta? Maybe? Slary actually even TP's down here to try and push him off the stack, but unfortunately for him, Young G had already farmed it up. Oh, he didn't even get the kill onto the creep. Slary didn't notice it. So now there's not even going to be a fresh set of creeps spawning here. It's just going to be blocked by this little shitty thing. It's very unfortunate. And still, there's actually starting to be a little bit of a rift in gold forming here between the mid laners. About 600 gold at the moment for Young G. 7 minutes in, that is a fair chunk of money. And he's just going straight in for the bot, so it's pretty standard item choice. Looks like Young G might have just found a free kill on Slary. Oh, the Stormhammer! It just able to get him away. Slary going to try and deny himself to Roche. The right click! He didn't find it. How did he get that connection? He was in the... Oh, the Bloodseeker, of course. But yeah, that was a nice move from Slary getting that deny. You knew there was no way he was going to be able to survive that one. So very well played. He did get the kill onto the Observer Ward as well, which is actually kind of nice. So, the good little moves there from a position 5 Sven. Meanwhile, now DR kind of just happy to be left on his own. Not really too much that Shadow Shaman Bloodseeker can do to hinder that all that much. I mean, unless, of course, the Shaman manages to get a sneaky Hex initiation and they go for like a big stun lock and then they could probably kill him. But it looks like he's just completely abandoned the lane. Like, Astral's off doing other things. And we want to ask Gold and Slary. Maybe they want to try and get a wrap there onto Young G or Ducalis, but no one's going to step out of position that far. So just getting a few blocks off. Kills the sentry ward. So, I mean, there's going to be tell there's a sentry there, but he had to kill it. Because otherwise, as soon as someone walked past, it would have just ended up getting denied. Oh, Melez, he actually just gets caught there. DR gets a kill. Was that pretty much that was nearly a solo kill. Because James did come in for a level 2 Arcane Fade Bolt, whatever the hell it's called. Which doesn't really do that much damage. So DR actually just able to bully out Melez on his own. Sort of what happens when your position 4 leaves you. And you can't really do too much to stand your own ground. And Crew actually even just dropping his rocket, getting ran out there from Sugarat. Maybe just a little bit afraid of what he could potentially start on the initiation. Obviously, he did have the Ravage, and Narskold was in the vicinity. So definitely would have been enough lockdown and damage to actually find that kill. Both these two just competing for the same farm. Young G's like, hell no, I ain't sharing. Takes pretty much most of it. But he does have his spots. Magic Wand coming out. So let's see if he's going to start getting his global presence on the go here. Maybe start heading down to the bot and secure some space for his gyro. Actually, no, never mind. Actually, where is the gyro? Oh, he's just gone into the jungle. I mean, forced into jungle at level 8 isn't too bad. I think he's kind of happy with that. Oscar actually just finds a free kill onto Astral's Curry there. And another one. Going to find a cheeky extra onto Melez. And Melez himself's actually going to get caught out here. Stormhammer, Telekinesis, Chuck back. Eruption gets put down onto Solari, but he still just ended up dying here. Arskull getting the final hit with the Sleight of Fist. So nice little move there from FantasticFive. 2 couriers and an offlane kill. Ends up being a big chunk of gold, especially going towards the Ember Spirit. It was falling behind the Lina. I mean, still is 800 gold behind it, but it's not like it's not as big as it was. Young G actually going for the first time of the BKB. It will be pretty damn important this game because there's, like I was saying earlier, there's so much CC from the side of FantasticFive. Like, if you get hit by a Ravage, there is just so many follow-up skills that can just keep you locked down.
Dire have fortified their structures against attack.
Carlos still only is level 5 actually. Past 10 minutes in. Wasn't even allowed to get the tome. And it looks like he's just going to end up dying here. Arskull's going to try and run him down. But with the Heavenly Grace, the stat resistance, this is not worth it. Yeah, 50% stat resistance. His chain would last 1 second. Not really enough time to lock him down and get the kill. But even though he's only level 5, he's still quite a tanky hero, to be fair.
Regeneration.
Oh, Melez runs into a Tide. And 4 members now, PuckChamp, rotate up to this area. They're going to start things off there with the Rupture onto Shurgrat, but even still, it's underneath a tier 1 tower. And they just couldn't really dive it. It was a very ambitious attempt. Even actually moving the Gyro up here. Full 5 members from PuckChamp, and they weren't even able to find a kill onto anybody. And it looks like they're all going to have to disengage. Youngji go for the TP out. Celeri just not close enough to get a stun there. Would have been really nice to deny that TP and then stop this farm from coming into Youngji.
Come and be judged fair. Waters rise. Scanning for enemies.
Still DR. Looks like he's going straight up for that shotgun build. Sort of standard Morphin plays. You either go for like the standard right-click DPS build or go straight in for the shotgun. I mean, you could easily blow up the Shaman, do a lot of damage to the Lina as well. Obviously, she's going to have that BKB soon, so its effectiveness won't be that strong against her. And I don't know if would it be enough damage to kill Omni? I suppose it would, actually. Yeah, he's actually... the Omni Knight is squishier than the Shadow Shaman at this point in the game, so... Yeah, he himself was also quite susceptible to getting blown up from this. Normally when you see like a Morphling going in for a shotgun build, you tend to have like an offlaner that's built into a Veil. But Shurgrat didn't decide to do that this game. Obviously, looking at it on pen and paper, there's not a huge amount of magic damage that would come out from this team. Normally it would be a lot of physical with the Sven, but as it is just a position 5 Sven, it's not really going to be able to have that much of a point. Meanwhile, though, missed that, but down bot. Arscold actually ends up getting caught out there from Astral and Young G. Celeri does get the trade-off, but it costs him his life as well. So it ends up being a 2-for-1, taking down the opposing mid laner. Going to delay out the Ember's game even further. So nice little move there from PuckChamp. And immediately, Young G TPs up to the top to try and take down this tier 1 if they can. I mean, it's the best opportunity they're going to have for a while, as the Ember Spirit is dead. No chance he can come in to help out. He's about to respawn in a second, and it looks like they will be able to keep this tower alive for then. Even Celeri TPing in himself. And yeah, PuckChamp, they just have to walk off. Nothing they can really do to keep that pressure going. And Arsco's actually dropped to the bottom farm of all the cores now. Only just slightly behind Melez. He did have a sort of rough time himself. But even still, he's got his Rod of Atos online, so he's able to sort of do what he wants to be doing anyway in these fights. Got his key items for now. There was actually, I think that was a blink just got finished up there for Shurgrat coming out on the courier. So now FantasticFive have the option of that big old Ravage initiation. So potentially they could be looking to go for a kill soon. I mean, the Gyro would be the best grab if they can actually find it. But by the looks, Ducalis is never far away. He knows that he doesn't need any farm himself this game. Really, all he needs is levels. Anything else is just a luxury. So as long as he can give as much safety to this Gyro as possible, then it's never going to be wasted time for it. So especially, he'll also be getting some of the XP as well. Support tax, you know. It happens in every pub game. It happens in pros as well. Bakrit closing in to his Aghanim Scepter. Only 1 Ograx away, 350 gold. And then that's going to be another big quite power spike for the Gyro. Not only ramping up his fighting potential, but at the same time bumping up his farming speed as well. Getting that extra hit like every 1.5 seconds, something like that. That's like a random target. Prioritize first fight. Does it use his attack speed? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's like a second, isn't it? Or is it his actual attack rate? Not sure. I am not sure. And so DR, he has his E-Blade online. He's just baiting this creep wave. Is anyone going to step out of position? Astral is there. but he's very wisely staying into the fog. He does not want to show himself. He's just farming up the XP. So there's sort of ended up being some dead farm here for DR, but I mean, this was so well played from Astral. Like any other player would normally just go into this wave and try and farm it up. Young G's actually going to show himself, but I think DR knows that's not a kill he can realistically find. It has to be a support if he wants to get that immediate burst kill. Especially seems how the BKB literally just got delivered there for Young G. So finding that kill was just going to be even more difficult. There's a DR's actually going to show himself in the wave. Just chucks out casual E-Blade. Meanwhile, Astral. He does get the initiation, but the Strength Ball forward came out and the immediate TP response from both of the supports on FantasticFive. Oh, this is so well played as well from Sugarat. Look at this. Like, he's just not revealing his blink, keeping it in the courier right next to him. So at a moment's notice, he could just get that delivered as an escape method or as a reinitiation. That's a real heads-up play there. I like that stuff. I like that. Even still, only 5-4 at 17 minutes in. Been a relatively calmish game. Both teams just sort of sat back, doing their own thing, farming up on their cores. As I mean, it's still sort of close between the position ones. Only about 400 goals separating them, which is pretty negligible at this stage of the game. Actually, the jump was there. The Ravage into the E-Blade. Young G, they still survive and they didn't finish him. But it doesn't matter. The Sleight of Fish, the last goal, just gets the grab. That was so close to him actually being able to survive that. So it actually ends up being the first 9-second usage of the BKB gets wasted. And it looks like the rest of PuckChamp didn't disengage fast enough. Ducalis might just get ran down here. Mela's going to try and disengage himself. And they would actually manage to get out. So FantasticFive not pushing their luck too badly. They just accept the kill onto the Lina. Which is a very, very nice one to pick up. Especially with just the added bonus of the first BKB charge being used as well. It's just icing on the cake. Unfortunately for them, the creep waves in the mid had already been pushed up towards their tier 2 towers. They couldn't just go for a free push.
Never refuse gold given.
No one really wants to get in the fight. I mean, now FantasticFive do just need to chill with Ravage on cooldown. They hit another 89 seconds. Meanwhile, got his 3-man smoke from PuckChamp. They're going to try and link up with Young G at the top. He was just getting pressured from Sugarat and DR. But I think they just know something's coming. Yeah, DR just immediately hiding in the trees. TP's to the bot lane to farm up. Oh, Sugarat. He just literally blinks right past it. So not even about to find the grab onto the Tide Hunter. They do sail to just get the tier 1 tower kill. Glyph's going to delay it for a little bit. Meanwhile, though, Solari's actually pressuring the tier 1 himself with this God Strength. Not normally you get a support hitting for 160 damage at 90 minutes in. So it's pretty nice. So just a few members of PuckChamp's going to be enough to defend this tier 1. Not really too much the FantasticFive can accomplish at this moment, especially with Ravage on cooldown. It's up in 25 seconds. Maybe once that's up, they're going to go for another kill. Talking about looking for kills, Young G and Astral are sort of doing this little paired travel at the moment. They were trying to find Arsgold at the bot, but he hid himself quite far away in the trees. So fortunately enough, he won't be caught just yet. He's going to have to definitely be a lot more careful when this Blink Dagger is actually online for Astral, but it's still quite a ways off yet. But James, I think he's a big call out here. He tried to get the haster and grab, but instead, it looks like Young G will just secure it there with the final few right clicks. And they actually go for an immediate smoke. I think they still had the Death Vision there for the Rubik, and they did. Yeah, he pings it out, so they know this smoke's happening. But even still, Sugarat's just lingering for now. He's going to try and go farm with this creep camp. Smoke breaks, but he's able to get the Blink Dagger off. They just weren't quick enough. I say you got to like Dragon Slave whilst the fog is still initiated. Young G actually just picking out Soleri. He wants to dive the tower for this. He might have enough burst damage with the Lagoon Blade, and they will get it. The TP does come in from Sugarat, and they've got the Ravage. He's going to jump forward to get the connection onto 3 of them. Young G goes BKB up, and immediately DR goes in there, obliterates Astral. Crit takes a lot of damage himself, but he's still able to disengage. The flat cannon as well as the homing missile. It's going to get the connection onto him. But D2CL is going to be there for the heal. There's no Heavenly Grace online. Now it has come up. Shograt's still charging forwards. Now they're going to change their focus onto melees if they can. Arskull's coming in himself. He gets the shackle. Is there going to be any sort of support? No, there's not. DR just takes the final blow with the E-Blade. And it looks like everyone else from PuckChamp's going to get out, apart from D2CL. The man's been abandoned. He gets all of his skills off. He might actually be able to survive this, and he does. He gets out of there. With 3 heroes on top of him, doesn't even matter. That is just the power of this status resistance. It's so damn strong. And now they're actually going to go for a re-engagement here. Shograt, he's hanging around. He gets hit by the other side. He couldn't get the blink off that time. There is going to be the silence as well, which will get avoided. Actually, it was a stolen silence there for the Rubik. So it holds him off for now. But even still, there's enough momentum for him to carry on running down the tide. A few members of FantasticFive were nearby, but all they could do was watch. You are Soleri. He uses the opportunity of one of his cores dying to take down the tower for free. It even got his own blink dagger online. So he has got that added initiation factor for the rest of his squad. Well, the E-Blade did get chucked down. There's Young G. Forced out another charge. And it's already down to 6 seconds at 22 minutes in. Very, very low charge for this stage in the game. Although I am quite surprised though. Soleri, obviously I expected the blink dagger. But I would have thought that the 20-minute mark he would actually go in for the shards. But he's not got it queued. He's going for the 4 staff instead. I mean, the 4 staff obviously going to help with the blood right coming out from the Seeker. And maybe at this stage they're not really too worried about like the Omni Knight, Heavenly Grace and Ultimate. Or they just not thought about it at all. Instead he actually just runs straight into Astral. That's going to be a free kill for sure. Well, DR coming in, trying to go for the free shotgun. But Astral just able to survive it there with the stick charges. Arskull even just finishes up his own BKB. Meanwhile, Crit actually just going to solo this Roshan with the help of D2CL nearby. Even got Satanic online. Wow, I did not see that. Jesus. And they actually just ended up walking out of the pit. I mean, they probably would have killed it eventually. It would have taken a bit of time. And I don't think FantasticFive knew this was going on. They had a high ground ward here. But I think they must have smoked into the pit. Actually, Chris is going to go straight back in. I'm sure they... Actually, if he clung to the side, does that actually reveal you? I'm not sure if it does. Or if... No, they didn't. Because Young G was able to sneak himself in there. Arskull, though, he is going to scout it out. And he sees Crit doing onto it. He saw Roshan was on super low HP. He's going to jump back in, but it doesn't matter. Crit's still able to get the Aegis. The Ravage comes out, but again, Young G gets his BKB off. Now Arskull has to retreat. He's got 1 remnant left. He will use it to escape. Shograt has to sacrifice himself. Looks like DR's going to be able to disengage as well. So a lot of trade of spells and BKBs, but still, PuckChamp come out on top. They get the Aegis, as well as the kill onto the Tidehunter. And Crit wasn't even phased in that. Still full HP, full mana, with the Satanic. This man's got 3,500 HP at 24 minutes in. This is just such a hard kill to find. Like, PuckChamp can really just group up and sit behind this gyro at this point. Because with the added help of the Omni Knight, there's nothing they can really do to pressure him. Especially seeing as how there's not going to be this shard online for the Sven for a long time. And yeah, there's going to pressure this tier 2. No glyph available for FantasticFive to push him off. Looks like DR wants to try and pressure out the mid if he can himself. Oh, they do pop the Lincolns, and he wasn't able to get his strength morph off. He still got caught out. He just wasn't ready for that. The Morphlin dies. He's gone for a minute. And they're just going high ground. They've got snakes. There's no glyph available. And this tier 3's dropping already. FantasticFive, they need to come back to defend it, but they don't have Ravage for still 70 seconds. And if they're forced to use the buyback on the Morphlin, it's going to be absolutely disastrous. Soleri jumping in. He gets the initial stun with Young G. They will now buyback, but even still, Crits to stand his ground. He eviscerates Soleri with ease. And now look, he's just so far up the front. I'm surprised they're even falling back. I thought they might just commit to get the range barracks, but they will decide to just accept what they got. But still, tier 3 and range barracks gone. 25 minutes into the game. You force a buyback on the Morphling as well. Just the gold lead is just skyrocketing. Now look at that. Just, this was, I think, the Roshan fight. And then all of a sudden, boom. Straight back up. Now FantasticFive are going to have to look for like the perfect initiation. Try and get like the burst kill onto Young G. Which I think he needs to kill D2CL. Even still, while you're putting all this focus onto the Omni and the Lina, you're just going to have Crit sat there just dishing out so much damage.
I stand for the light.
Yeah, it's looking rough. It's looking rough. It's not insurmountable by any means, but it's definitely a lot harder than what it needs to be.
Healing thee fearless.
Yeah, I think the Sight Gunner is just 1 second as well. I'm sure it is. Slurry even trying to... He's got the Axe queued up next. Well, there's a few good spells he can steal and stuff. And just constantly keep him pumping out. But, I mean, he's a very, very long way of getting it. He's got enough to get his point booster. Booster. So he's about, like, 2,500 gold away. And it looks like maybe Viking are going to try and take this tier 2 at the bot. But, I mean, they've got to be careful because PuckChamp themselves are actually pushing out on this mid.
Structures are fortified.
It's just Young G that's actually in the area. Maybe he wants to try and find a cheeky grab on someone if he can. But even still, DR will just finish up this tower. Crit should be able to take the one in the mid. And again, both glyphs have been popped. And Snakes are back online here for PuckChamp. And Arsgold, he's not even bothered about defending the range barracks. Just going to let it fall as he sees the rest of PuckChamp push into the mid. Snakes gets dropped yet again. Although, there is the Ravage available for FantasticFive this time round, so they can try and defend it. But even still, the creep wave's gone already. The tower's gone. The barracks are exposed. And the FantasticFive trying to cover the backlines. Young G, he's found the initiation here onto Shurgrat. He just focused him down. With the break, he couldn't even get the purge of the stun. He was completely disabled, gone for 50 seconds. And that's just the whole set of barracks gone. They've even found the grab onto Arsgold. He's able to get his BKB off. Solari jumping in. They get the finish onto Astral. It costs Solari his life. But I think that's still a slightly favourable trade. But even still, that's not going to be enough to try and deter PuckChamp away from this high ground. It's a whole set of barracks gone. That's a lot of damage. Young G, though, he actually does get caught out from the shotgun there from DR. So it is something there for FantasticFive. But I think PuckChamp, they don't really care about that. 2 sets of barracks gone, 28 minutes into the game. The one saving grace from FantasticFive is that they've still got their tier 1 tower standing at the bot. So it gives them a little bit of space to work with, but even still, you just know that PuckChamp are going to be going back at him yet again. No need for him to sit back. This Aegis is actually about to time out. I'm sure if like circumstances around the Roche Pit were better, they probably would have preferred to give Young G the Aegis, but where he had to quickly snap it up, it does end up being a little bit of a waste. Could have kept Young G alive there. Ah, well. But yeah, that's Silver Edge. It just screwed over Shurgrat so hard. He broke away the Kraken Shell, got the stun, and it stopped the Dispel from coming in, and then just controls him, gets the kill before he can do anything. But they are going to go for a desperate play here. 4-man smoke, leaving Arsgold out of it. Maybe they just want to try and bait him out if they can. They're journeying into the enemy jungle. There's not a single member in there, though. They're all sort of actually hanging around the outside. So PuckChamp actually are sort of aware that this move would be coming out. I suppose they can see there's no one at the top. There's no one at the mid lane either. They had this ward, so they've seen that no one was walking around here. So literally the only place they could have gone would be in this general vicinity. Young G's actually going in for the Satanic himself. Got the Reaver in tow, 2.8k HP. So just like pure tank it up to try and deal with the E-Blade. Oh, Mele's even finished up a Cypher Vice. So now they just got so many ways of breaking this Linken's and trying to get Disable onto the Morph. Like, this Bloodseeker himself has 5 ways of disabling Linken's. 4-Starve, Atos, Scythe, Urn, Ultimate. Absolutely ridiculous amount of methods. And then really the only other person who can do it after that is Astral. With his own couple of disables. But normally they want to try and actually keep those available if they can. He can use the Ether Shock actually to get the removal. If he has to. But it just makes this map so scary for DR. There's too many ways for getting the catch onto him. It looks like they might end up bumping into a fat PuckChamp here who's sat on this high ground. They do have the wards. They see all the correct people. The jump force there for Celeri. I'm not sure if they were quite ready for that. Some people, the Hex, they got the connection there onto Oscar on the back lines. He gets locked down. Although Melis does get blown up there from DR. So they do get a pretty fair trade. The Omni Knight's getting low, but even still, DR can't focus to get that kill. He has to just try and run away. Crit, able to get the finish on the Shogun. I think it was the missile that killed him. And it forces the buyback there on the Tide. So even still, ends up being a 2-for-1 trade there for PuckChamp. But, I mean, considering the circumstances of how this game's going, I don't think that's even terrible Fantastic Five. I mean, the buyback on the Tide is pretty terrible. Especially seems like it doesn't even have Ravage. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. The Daedalus just got finished up there. Or was it something else? No, it was just the Daedalus. Or was it the Skadi? I don't know, man. This guy's got so many items now. Basically 22k. I mean, DR is still pretty close by. He's only 3,000 behind him. But in terms of what he's actually able to do with his net worth, it's so much lower. Because DR is really just single hero focus build at the moment. He can only deal burst damage to one person and try and remove him. Meanwhile, with the gyrocopter, all this damage coming out with the flat cannon as well, he can just dish it out to absolutely every single member of FantasticFive. So it just ends up being a much better sort of DPS trade. And the Roshan actually spawned already. Very, very quick one there. And FantasticFive are going to try and take this while they can. It's already down to half HP. And I don't think PuckChamp have any idea that this is going on. This is actually going to work out quite nice for him. Aegis and Shard going to hit the deck. And who are they going to give it all over to? I think they should give the Shard to Celeri. And instead they do actually end up giving it to Arsgold. But instead, PuckChamp trying to go for the cutoff there. They found the rocket connection onto James. But they're not going to bother chasing after him. Well, Melis mate wants you though. Rolovatos, Hex just dropping absolutely everything on this Rubik. It's going to force the TV response from DR. The double use of the 4-star. What was that? What was that? It just ended up killing him. Oh man, that was rough. Poor old James. He stood no chance in that situation. He does have a buyback at least. And I assume that he might be forced to use it here. PuckChamp going to start pushing into his final set of bottom barracks. The tier 2 is going to fall pretty quickly. There is a glyph available FantasticFive, which they're going to hold for the high ground for sure. But it's this real do or die moment. Ravage just about to come back up online. They're not going to have God's Strength, but obviously it's position 5, so they don't really care about that too much. There's 4.3k HP gyro, well he is with Heavenly Grace on him. Man, are so damn tanky. The Heavenly Grace, the heals, just how can you really do that much to the gyro? They do slowly push him off there. The jump forwards. He gets a nice connection with the Ravage onto 4 people. The rest are jumping in immediately. They get the kill to Takalis. That is down on the Omni Knight, but even still, they get the first kill onto the Morphlim. The Tidehunter's already dead as well. Slayer just trying to stun up onto the sides, but CRDR pops out of it. He's jumping forward. He's trying to get the shotgun again onto Young G, but still, he gets hit by the shackle. He doesn't have strength morph off. He's stuck. He's stranded. And he's about to die. He's gone. They do get the kill onto Astral, but it wasn't fast enough to save his life. Alsco's trying to hide himself in the trees, but he dies as well. 4 members in the ground. And the buyback comes in for Slurry as well as DR. Is this going to be enough to keep these set of barracks alive? They can't afford to get Megas here. It's going to be real difficult. Slurry jump in. They get his initial stun. Jump force with the shotgun, but the Omni Knight element came in. It kept Melee alive. And DR gets controlled. He's dead. James does get the trade, but it doesn't matter. GG is called. FantasticFive just get dominated in this game number 1 from PuckChamp. They just couldn't do anything to crit. Ends the game 4-0-12. Like, he was just doing so much disgusting amount of damage. There wasn't really anything FantasticFive could do it. Like, they had to focus onto Ducalis to try and, like, make sure there wasn't so much survivability for this gyro. But even still, whilst you're trying to get that kill, Crit's just sat there beating into all of you. You just end up dying so easily. Let's see what his end damage was for that game. I imagine it was pretty damn high. Despite the fact that he only had 4 kills himself. Yeah, damage dealt. 30,000. Absolutely monstrous. DR was... He did 23 himself, but obviously this is just like burst damage. Wasn't really any sort of sustained sort of DPS that he could pump out. Even still. Well played to PuckChamp, taking this game of one of the best of 3 series. Now only 1 game away from taking the whole thing. And I'm sure FantasticFive, they might bring something else to the table here. It might even be worth just banning out the gyro, perhaps. Or maybe you're not too afraid of the gyro if there's no Omni Knight. But then, if you ban out the Omni Knight, you're going to have to let something else through. which I believe they banned the Kotl and the Pangolier. So I'm sure if they don't ban out either one of those, PuckChamp will just snap up immediately. But even still, well played to them. If you've enjoyed this series, please follow me on my Twitch and my YouTube. Any help I get, I thoroughly appreciate. But again, on 2 coming up soon, so I'll see you there for that.